The sitting is resumed.
Order number 11, sir. Order number 11, sir. In the name of the Honorable Minister in the Ministry of Housing, Lands and Rural Development, to move the passing of a resolution to approve in accordance with Section 5 of the Crown Lands Vesting and Disposal Act, Chapter 225, the lease to the National Insurance Board of a parcel of land, the property of the Crown, situate at Pine Plantation Road in the parish of St. Michael in this island, to be used for the construction of a new headquarters for the Barbados Fire Service.
Honourable Member St. John.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The resolution before the Honorable House seeks permission to lease 4.8 acres of land at Pine Plantation Road, St. Michael, to the National Insurance Board for the construction of a new headquarters for the Barbados Fire Service. Mr. Speaker, this leasing of land came about as a result of a policy decision by government that the former National Insurance building on Fairchild Street, adjoining the headquarters of the Barbados Fire Service, should be demolished to expand Golden Square and to green the particular area. And Mr. Speaker, everyone in this august chamber would be aware of the history behind Golden Square. This is where one of our national heroes would have made that speech on July 22nd, 1937. And currently, a lot of persons residing on this island hardly know where Golden Square is located, hardly know the significance of Golden Square. And this is an attempt by this government to ensure that history is, in a sense, visible, to ensure that one of our key landmarks in the city area would now have the prominence that should be ascribed to that particular location. So we are proposing, Mr. Speaker, to lease the 4.8 acres of land at Pine Plantation to construct a new fire service, because it is evident that with the demolition of the former NIS building, that it will significantly impact on the operations of the fire service headquarters where it currently is situated. Now, the land at Pine Plantation Road was originally earmarked for the police headquarters, but because of the significance of what I would have mentioned just now, we believe that the fire service can now go to that particular location. Mr. Speaker, the erection of the new fire service will be funded by the National Insurance Board, and it will be funded under, and I will outline some of the conditions that are attached to that particular process. The cost of the construction of the building and the environs and landscaping should not exceed $20 million. The interest rate on the actual construction cost should not exceed 6%. The lease should be for a period of 30 years from the start of the construction. Mr. Speaker, these are terms that we believe are fair, terms that we believe are right for the type of construction that we're looking for. I believe that I know that the Ministry of Housing and Lands and MTW would have done, and the Ministry of Home Affairs would have conducted site visits at the location to ensure that what is being proposed for the location can adequately fit and service the particular area. All of the necessary agreements are in place. So, Mr. Speaker, there's not a lot more I would want to say as it relates to this. The lease shall be an operating lease, which includes maintenance and lands, the maintenance and the lands on which the fire service will be constructed, and rent should be paid in the sum of Barbados $100 per annum for the 30-year period. And with these brief remarks, I wish to beg that this resolution do now pass.
Your Honor, what? Honourable Member for St. James North.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of this resolution. As the Honourable Member for St. John said, this is essentially a resolution to create a location for the headquarters and of the Barbados Fire Service and also for a fire station. The present location, sir, in Probin Street, as I understand it, the building was constructed in the 1950s. It is now in a state of disrepair. In fact, last year, some repairs were done in the last quarter of the financial year because, of course, we have the overriding duty, the Ministry of Home Affairs, to provide comfortable work environment for the officers there. But as the Honourable Member for St. John said, a policy decision has been taken by the Cabinet of Barbados, as you know, all of Barbados know by now, to demolish the old NIS building, which has not been used for years now, having been built as, I believe, in the late 1960s, and the adjacent fire station of which we speak. This is to create an area of recreational comfort for Barbadians and visitors alike. So in every great city in the world, there is an open space, there are open spaces, green environment which is being promoted globally because we all realize that the socio-economic well-being of an individual, while very, very important, the aspect of their spiritual well-being, their ability and capacity to recreate and you know, have times of peace with themselves and their family and friends is also almost just as important. And therefore, we as a government feel that we should have this open space in the heart of Bridgetown. And the Honourable Member for the city, who, of course, my colleague here side of me, fully appreciates that and endorses that, because life has to be brought back to the city. And we are certainly committed to bringing back that life. As the Honourable Member for St. John said, this area where the where the Probin Street Fire Station is presently located is adjacent to the square of one of our 10 national heroes, the Right Excellent Clement Payne, who we need to do full honors to. This is a national hero who, in 4 months, in 1937, transformed the history of Barbados. 4 months. I mean, not a lifetime. And we have to honor our heroes, and whereby they can be used as an example to our young people as to what can be possibly achieved in terms of excellence of our people, in terms of our personal development, in terms of the development of this country that we love so much. And therefore, all of this is part of the historical and the environmental development of Barbados. So the question arises, sir, that a new fire station has to be found in terms of location within the environs of St. Michael. There was a choice of possibly 5 or 6. Tours were done of the Pine location, which is the subject to this resolution, next to the CXC building. That was a location, as the Honourable Member for St. John said, that had been earmarked previously by the former government in 2015 as a location for a police station. So in other words, sir, the former government has agreed with us in principle that an emergency service can be located on this site. And that police station, so it was proposed that it would have been funded by NIS funds, similar to what we are doing here, sir, because of course the government of Barbados on principle doesn't have money sitting down ready to build a fire service station or an emergency service. There's of course a new police station going up, sir, in Worthing, sir, which will be opened up. Hastings, sorry, which will be opened up officially very soon. So it is felt, sir, that obviously a new fire station is of more importance within that context, sir. And site visits were done, sir, from late 2018, and it was decided that this would be the location. The NIS has agreed, and the Ministry of Finance, to loan no more than $20 million for the construction of this fire station and for beautifying the environs. Interest rate at no more than 6%. The Honourable Minister presenting gave other conditions of the loan. In the meantime, though, sir, until this building is constructed, completely constructed, a temporary location would have to be found for the fire service. Some firemen, sir, who are presently based at Probin Street will be relocated to the Worthing Fire Station. Some will be relocated to the Arch Hall Fire Station, sir, as well as obviously the equipment that will be required. And it is planned that 8 firemen will go to a temporary location in the same compound, sir, building which was occupied by the Ministry of Public Works, and that is being retrofitted. It is expected that it will take 10 days to retrofit, starting from next week, hopefully, to get it ready for a very temporary location of the fire station with 8 fire officers there and some equipment, sir. In the longer term range, it is that we are looking at the former British American Insurance building in Bishop's Court Hill, Upper Cullamore Rock, for the fire service to go in on the 1st and 2nd floor for some months until this new fire station in Pine Road is completed. So, in all of this, sir, the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Fire Service Department will ensure that the security of Barbadians in the event of a fire within this circumference, within the St. Michael area, within the environs, that we will protect the security of Barbados in the event of a fire, national disaster, as much as we can, sir, as much as we used to when the fire station is located at Probin Street. We will not in any way seek to compromise the national security of the people of this country. There will also be an outpost at very near to the Probin Street fire station, next to the Methodist Church, sir, and that was a bit of subject of speculation a few weeks ago, until I made a public statement explaining the rationale behind that, because firemen, of course, their sole duty is not just to fight fires, but they have other duties, statutory duties, which will entail them, for example, going in Bridgetown and inspecting buildings there, making sure that there are proper exits in the event of a fire, and making sure that these buildings comply with the statutory requirements for a building that is used by the public. And there will be this outpost with some equipment, communication, technology, sir, dining facilities, toilet facilities there by these facilities just side of the Methodist Church there in Bay Street. This is similar, sir, nothing magical about this. The police have outposts. Police are emergency services just like firemen. And we know police have outposts in certain parts of Barbados as part of their fight against crime. As I said, sir, the BTII, Barbados Tourism Investment Inc., is also involved in terms of refurbishing the buildings in which the fire service will be temporarily located. But there's also the issue, sir, where at the present time, the fire station in Probane Street does not accommodate the headquarters, the administrative arm of the Barbados Fire Service, which is located in on top the post office, the general post office, top floor, in Cheapside Road, as the honorable leader of the opposition will well know when he was a senior member of the Barbados Labour Party and in cabinet. His office was located in that same building, and that is not obviously the most suitable thing. It is more conducive to have the headquarters sited in the same location as a fire station. And this fire station that we are proposing to be constructed in the Pine Road will also have that facility where the headquarters will be sited there as well. I certainly look forward, sir, as Minister of Home Affairs, for the speedy construction of this building. As I said, the NIS waiting on this resolution to be passed to obviously start pushing ahead with the funding and the tenders and the expressions of interest of all the technical people, the experts, and the professional services that will be required to go into the construction of this building, sir. And I'm therefore in full support of this resolution. I'm obliged to you, sir.
Mr. Speaker,
Honourable Member for St. John. Honourable Member for St. John.
sorry.
Honourable Member Sir Michael West Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know the hour is late. I'll be brief. The resolution before us, as outlined earlier, has to do with a lease to be assigned to the National Insurance Board to facilitate the construction of the new Barbados Fire Service. Mr. Speaker, the reason why the resolution has to come here is because the National Insurance Board would have to have, obviously, a lease assigned to the National Insurance Board in preparation for the expenditure associated with this project. So it's legal as well as regulatory in the sense of protection. Mr. Speaker, the National Insurance Board is always looking for good investments. And obviously we have an opportunity here because the Ministry of Home Affairs would have approached the National Insurance Board and asked them to consider this project. As indicated earlier, the project is to the tune a maximum of $20 million. That is what we will finance. The matter the funding went before the Investment Committee of the National Insurance Board approximately 2 weeks ago, and the board approved it, obviously subject to the assignment of the lands, the National Insurance Board, we had our meeting yesterday, and we approved it last evening. So that with this resolution now, we can proceed obviously with the appropriate paperwork, starting to get the tenders advertised, as well as facilitating all associated works to get this project moving and to ensure that the project is completed on time within the $20 million. Clearly, this will be on a leased arrangement. Like I said, the National Insurance Board is always looking for good, sound investments, and this is a safe investment for the board to be associated with on the basis. Of course, at the end of the cycle, the government of Barbados reserves the right to go ahead and purchase it outright, which obviously, as you would appreciate, could be a wonderful exit for the National Insurance Board in financial terms, of course. So it presents another opportunity on the exit when the government obviously is in a position or if they say to us that they would wish to continue with the project. Mr. Speaker, the National Insurance Board has had a very proud and a long association with helping successive governments. And we don't take our responsibility in respect of this matter because we have to build out our safety and our security. And the projects that we have been involved in obviously contribute to the enhancement of national security as well. This is not the only project within recent times. You will recall, sir, that the National Insurance Board had approved a security project for the Bridgetown Port. So this is but an example of a project, Mr. Speaker, not in paper, that at some point in time will never be paid, because I can assure you that this Barbados Labour Party government, and becoming the government of the day, ensure that there are no outstanding liabilities to the national insurance. So there are absolutely no receivables due by the Barbados government to the national insurance. Mr. Speaker, the government has also continued with its payments and continue to meet its payments in respect of non-contributory insurance, the rents for all the buildings that they occupy, sir, and I'm happy to tell you that they are current. So we see no risks associated with this particular investment. Like I said, it is a good thing for the people of Barbados for the reasons aforementioned by those who've spoken before me. So within the context, Mr. Speaker, and not to delay this House unduly, I would commend my support for this resolution and to say that the National Insurance Board is pleased to be associated with the government on this particular project in respect of safety. And Mr. Speaker, on that note, I'm much obliged. Thanks.
Honourable Member for St. Michael East.
Mr. Speaker, again, I cannot allow this moment in history to pass. This is a jewel asset to the people of Barbados. A new location for the fire service, but is also the preservation of one of the most significant sites in the history of Barbados. Every July the 26th, we journey to that site. And we demonstrate in no uncertain terms our respect and our honor and our celebration of the people who fought to break the back of colonialism at that specific historic period. Names like Clement Payne and Israel Lovell and Chase and Grant, significant heroes, unsung heroes they call them, but for me some heroes that were responsible for the fundamental changes that we all enjoy. I didn't really want to detain the House, but I felt a sense of guilt. And I believe that my brothers and sisters on the outside, who always stood by me in my struggles over the years, that helped me to be here in this Parliament to say the things that I normally say, that they would feel betrayed if it did not say how important this site is to the Pan-Africanist movement across Barbados. There are still members of the Payne family alive and members in my constituency of the Lovell family alive. And, and Minister Payne is identifying himself with Clement Payne. and the members of the Workers' Men Association, you're right, the Duncan O'Neill, and members of the UNIA, United Negroes Improvement Association, joined hand in hand over the years prior to July the 26th, and they came there to express their feelings about how this society at the time was functioning. And as a result of the things that they said, the collective strength of the people came together, and they made sure that as a consequence of all of that, that was the genesis of even the birth of the Barbados Labour Party. Because by 1938, Barbados Labour Party and the Barbados Workers' Union, as a result of what was said then, wake up the consciousness of the people of this country. As a result of the deportation of Payne and the imprisonment of innocent men who were involved in the struggle. And it's for those reasons, sir, that I feel I must say these things to the House of Assembly and to make people very conscious of it. To me, it is even more important, I hate to say it, it is unfortunate that we have Hero Square there. And to me, Golden Square, for anybody who hears about Golden Square, that does not really give a true picture of what has transpired. So I really would like to make the call that Golden Square become a revolutionary square. I believe that if I was anywhere in and I knew nothing about Barbados right away, and I hear revolutionary square, as you find those squares across many of the colonies in the region, and even some outside of the British colonies in the region, we know whenever we hear about revolutionary square, something significant occurred on the spot. And this would be a great tribute to the leadership in this party as well. Everybody has a little square somewhere in town. This is the most meaningful square to all of us. Had not for what transpired there, had not for the people who spoke there, and the people who spoke there, they agitated the people, they educated the people, and they sent the message, but do not violate. And they suffered the consequence of 8 years. For example, Lovell in prison, and Clement Payne suffered the consequence of a deportation for doing justice for the people of Barbados. So I want to thank this government. Whatever motivated it to occur, and I believe a sense of consciousness also inspired us. While we moved the police station to the Pine East West Road, fire station to the Pine East West Road, the reality is that the motive behind it, as far as I know, is because we understood the importance of that piece of jewel in the city of Bridgetown for working class black people in Barbados. And I want to join this party in honoring this commitment, especially the leader of this party. Because prior to that, a market was constructed there, which was supposed to be a site that was supposed to be temporary, and decades passed, and it is still there. That will be demolished as well, sir. So I want to celebrate with all of us, the Barbados Labour Party, honoring this important commitment to the people of Barbados and all the families of the fallen soldiers who fought in the Battle of 1937, which people also relegated to the status of a wreck. If we put it in its context and name the place Revolutionary Square, you would better be able to appreciate that we were not involved in any wreck in the 1930s, but we were involved in a serious revolution to fundamentally change the three important separations of governance in the country itself. The messages were clear, and I want to appreciate even those who have gone to demonstrate my appreciation for the work that was done, even the people that have gone long before today, for the sacrifice which they have made. And I want to also give thanks to the honorable leader of this political party for ensuring that we demonstrate clearly to the people of Barbados that we will honor that commitment by making that location an area that we have preserved, a historic landmark, at least that people will be able to see it as an area that we can go and enjoy the recreation. And I hope that I'll be given the opportunity to help with the whole beautification program and transform it in a way that they say this is a place to be, and probably become the only true square in the city of Bridgetown. So thank you. I didn't want to hold up the Parliament, but I felt like that had to be put in the records of Parliament.
Honourable Member for St. John.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the honourable members who would have contributed to this debate. Week after week, we come to this honourable chamber and we see proactive government, unlike what happened to this August chamber for 10 years. I know the significance of this particular location is not lost on any of us, and I just want, at this point in time, to say with these few marks, I beg that this resolution do now pass.
Questions that this resolution do now pass. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it. This resolution now stands passed.
Mr. Speaker,
Honourable Leader of Government Business.
with that, we have come to the end of today's sitting. I beg to move the adjournment of this sitting until the 11th of February at 10 a.m.
The questions that this honourable chamber be adjourned until the 11th day of February at 10 a.m. in the forenoon. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. We think the ayes have it. This honourable chamber stands adjourned until the 11th day of February at 10 a.m. in the forenoon.